This video explores why young adults live permanently inside global crisis mode. Gen Z entered adulthood during nonstop economic and political instability worldwide. Many young adults never experienced a truly stable global environment. Financial crashes became background noise for an entire generation. The 28 recession shaped childhood memories for millions worldwide. Then came social media, accelerating fear 24 hours daily. Young people absorb disasters constantly through personalized algorithms online. Wars and disasters now arrive instantly through every digital platform. Older generations consumed news once nightly instead of continuously. That psychological difference completely changed how young adults perceive safety. Permanent crisis mode creates exhaustion before adulthood even properly begins. Researchers increasingly describe Gen Z as emotionally overwhelmed by uncertainty. Most of us grew up expecting another disaster eventually. Climate disasters intensified during the exact years Gen Z matured. Young adults watched wildfires consume cities across multiple continents yearly. Flooding displaced millions, while temperatures shattered historical records worldwide. Scientists warn younger generations will inherit worsening climate instability. That fear directly impacts career planning and family expectations today. Many young adults delay having children because future conditions seem unstable. Housing markets also collapsed affordability across major urban centers globally. Young workers spend unprecedented percentages of income on rent monthly. Home ownership increasingly feels impossible for middle-class young adults. Student debt deepened financial insecurity throughout developed economies after university. College degrees no longer guarantee stable employment or upward mobility. The promise of stability disappeared before many graduates found careers. Gig economy jobs replaced long-term employment security for millions. Companies increasingly avoid offering pensions, health care, or predictable scheduling. Young workers became flexible labor during constant economic uncertainty worldwide. Temporary contracts now dominate entry-level positions across many industries. This instability affects mental health more than previous generations experienced. Rates of anxiety disorders rose sharply among younger demographics globally. Social isolation intensified after years of pandemic restrictions and lockdowns. COVID disrupted education, careers, relationships, and long-term personal planning simultaneously. Millions entered adulthood during quarantines instead of normal social transitions. Graduation ceremonies disappeared while unemployment rates suddenly exploded worldwide. Young adults became economically vulnerable exactly when support systems weakened globally. Many people still feel emotionally stuck inside pandemic survival habits. Remote work blurred boundaries between employment, rest, and personal identity. Phones transformed bedrooms into permanent offices for millions of workers. Constant notifications train young adults to remain psychologically alert continuously. This hypervigilance resembles symptoms associated with prolonged chronic stress exposure. Economic instability also intensified political polarization across democratic societies worldwide. Young voters increasingly distrust institutions once considered socially reliable. Trust in governments, media corporations, and universities declined significantly recently. Many institutions appeared unprepared during multiple overlapping international emergencies recently. That perception fuels cynicism among younger demographics across many countries. Gen Z often expects systems to fail during emergencies automatically. Financial planning becomes difficult when the future feels permanently unstable everywhere. Even small life decisions now feel strangely high stakes. Many young adults avoid risks because safety margins disappeared economically. Unexpected medical bills can still financially destroy younger workers completely. Inflation increased food, transportation, and utility costs across nearly every region. Wages failed to keep pace with rising living expenses globally. Young adults increasingly work multiple jobs while remaining financially insecure. Dot. Burnout became normalized rather than treated as an emergency condition socially. Corporate culture often celebrates overwork instead of sustainable, healthy productivity. Younger workers face pressure to monetize every hobby and relationship online. Social media transformed personal identity into a competitive economic marketplace. Every achievement becomes public while failures remain permanently searchable online. This environment intensifies insecurity during already unstable economic conditions worldwide. Comparison culture makes ordinary struggles feel personally catastrophic sometimes. Conflict zones increasingly dominate international headlines viewed by younger audiences daily. Refugee crises expose millions to graphic images of displacement and destruction. Young adults witness global suffering constantly through live streams and viral videos. Psychologists warn repeated exposure increases emotional fatigue and hopelessness long term. Doom scrolling became a nightly routine for many stressed young adults globally. Algorithms reward emotionally intense content because outrage drives longer engagement online. Fear became profitable within the modern attention economy structure worldwide. News cycles now prioritize emotional reactions instead of long-term understanding. That environment makes crises feel endless, even during periods of stability. Many people feel tired without fully understanding why anymore. Education systems struggled adapting quickly to modern economic realities facing students. Schools still prepare students for stable careers that barely exist now. Of more alternative source stable careers that barely exist now. Many graduates enter industries already transformed by automation and artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence threatens entry-level work traditionally available to younger employees. White-collar careers once considered safe now appear increasingly uncertain globally. Young professionals constantly retrain because industries evolve faster than institutions respond. Career ladders disappeared while expectations for productivity continued increasing everywhere dramatically. The traditional timeline toward adulthood became fragmented and financially delayed globally. Marriage, homeownership, and parenthood now arrive later for many demographics worldwide. Long-term planning feels risky when conditions change every few months. Governments increasingly recognize younger generations face unprecedented economic and psychological pressures. Several countries expanded mental health funding after pandemic-related stress increases. Some governments introduced housing subsidies targeting younger urban workers, specifically recently. Student loan forgiveness programs gained political momentum across multiple democracies recently. However, many reforms remain smaller than the scale of existing problems. Young adults still report declining optimism about future economic opportunities globally. Polling data shows rising pessimism among younger demographics across continents recently. Many believe they will achieve lower living standards than parents experience. That expectation represents a major historical shift in developed societies globally. Previous generations generally expected each decade to improve materially and socially. Crisis mode became normal before adulthood even stabilized emotionally. Social scientists describe this mindset as anticipatory anxiety toward the future. People prepare emotionally for disasters before any crisis actually happens publicly. That constant anticipation prevents genuine relaxation and long-term emotional recovery. Young adults often struggle disconnecting from news and social platforms completely. Silence itself can feel dangerous after years of constant alerts online. Some psychologists compare this behavior to prolonged emergency response conditioning mentally. Younger demographics increasingly seek therapy for stress linked to uncertainty, specifically. Mental health services remain expensive, inaccessible, or understaffed across many regions. Long waiting lists prevent timely treatment for struggling young adults frequently. Everyone shares stress instantly now, including complete strangers online. Despite this pressure, many young adults remain politically and socially engaged globally. Climate activism especially mobilized younger generations across international movements recently. Young organizers increasingly demand structural reforms instead of temporary short-term fixes. Labor movements among younger workers also gain visibility across several industries. Many younger employees now openly reject burnout-centered workplace cultures publicly. Quiet quitting reflected frustration with unsustainable expectations rather than laziness entirely. Work-life balance became a political issue instead of personal preference. Younger generations increasingly prioritize mental stability over traditional career prestige today. That cultural shift challenges older assumptions about productivity and personal success. Younger people are adapting differently because conditions changed dramatically first. Technology accelerated faster than social systems could responsibly adjust worldwide recently. Artificial intelligence deepfakes and misinformation further damaged public trust internationally recently. People increasingly struggle identifying reliable information during major international emergencies online. That confusion amplifies uncertainty already affecting younger demographics, psychologically and economically. Future crises may arrive faster because modern systems remain globally interconnected economically. A banking collapse or war now impacts worldwide supply chains immediately. Young adults, therefore, experience international instability as deeply personal and immediate daily. Global crises no longer feel geographically distant from ordinary everyday life. Economic shocks in one region quickly spread through interconnected financial systems. That responsibility feels overwhelming when stability already feels impossible, personally. Still, many young adults continue building communities despite recurring crises worldwide today. Mutual aid networks expanded significantly during emergencies and economic disruptions internationally. Younger generations increasingly value cooperation over purely competitive social structures economically. Community-driven housing, food, and healthcare initiatives gained momentum during instability recently. Digital organizing also helps marginalized groups share resources and information quickly. Younger activists often connect economic climate and mental health crises together. They argue instability cannot be solved through isolated policies anymore globally. Systemic problems increasingly require coordinated international responses and long-term planning. Experts warn fragmented politics could worsen instability during future emergencies globally. Right now, predictability feels more valuable than luxury for many people. Young adults increasingly prioritize emotional security over traditional status symbols and wealth. Flexible schedules, supportive friendships, and affordable housing now represent major aspirations. The definition of success is quietly changing beneath global economic instability today. Many younger adults simply want stable lives without constant emergency level stress. That desire reflects exhaustion rather than lack of ambition or discipline entirely. Global instability shaped a generation before it reached emotional or financial maturity. Their worldview formed during recession, pandemics, political conflict, and climate emergencies simultaneously. That experience fundamentally changed expectations surrounding adulthood, work, and personal security permanently. Many experts believe this generation will redefine stability for future societies globally. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.